Oh my God, we have had a drought for so long. We have had a drought for more than a decade, and finally in the Pacific Ocean, a La Nina has finally kicked in, bringing a lot of moisture to the Midwest. I have a favorite mushroom, which is a brother, sister, whatever, to the shaggy parasol, which is edible. Too much can give a little bit of a stomach ache. Don't have too much. I have missed this for so long. It tastes like a mix of wheat bread and cashews. I went whacking my way through this heavy brush. Feast your eyes on these giant beauties. Oh, I thought they were wiped out. This place had dried out so badly. Oh, oh my goodness. Lots of mint here too. This is a major mint patch. When I pick mushrooms, the ones that are the most mature and the ones at the end of the season that are the least mature. That's plantain, by the way. The seeds stick to every bit of your clothing. This is edible, but it's also very annoying. I spread the spores around. I pick pieces of the top and toss them around different areas of similar foliage, similar soil. Oh, I'm so ecstatic to see these again. Wait. You gotta see this. If I can get this. Oh, make sure you watch your step. Chokecherry bush. Wild black cherries are very tiny black cherries, which is why they call them choke cherries, because if you inhale them, you can choke on them. Alright, plantain is more than plentiful around here, so get out of my face. Oh my God, if I only had enough dry weather to draw these out in. Where I live currently, I do not have an oven or a dehydrator. I have altered a tool that I have. I used a steel file to make a knife edge along here. Saw and mini machete. Alright, plantain, there's plenty of you. Thistle. This variety of thistle is toxic. You cannot eat it. I'll show you blossoms later on. Alright, I gotta get to these guys in here. It's a very tight space, so holding this camera just right is a challenge. I have not seen them turned up this way on their caps before, but I suppose as much as this one is covered and it's dying for some attention from light, wind. This must be spores. I can't imagine that being anything else easily. Oh, I'm so pleased to see these. That one's in its later years. Cut that part. This one is at the peak of its adulthood. Therefore, I will allow this one to drop spores. Leave it so it can prosper. Distinguishing features. I'll show you the root on another one that I'm going to harvest. Something of a Native American way that Americans have misinterpreted is to say thank you when you're going to kill something and take it for food. You don't honor it by thanking it, you're killing it. You should apologize and swear that you're going to help it propagate. That is how you honor it. Leave the elder and leave the very last one of the season. Oh, I have to be absolutely sure. Now I have to consider the difference. What the? That's got to be spores. It's directly under. What was I saying? The youngest and the oldest must remain, because with the variations in seasons, the youngest and oldest will have the best chances of being there to adapt to whatever the climate changes to. Oh, I am so excited to see these again. Look at how big this is. One of the first ones I ever found was exactly 12 inches in diameter. So, I remember now what I was saying. I have to check all of the details again to perfectly identify it, because what is slightly different is that the cap is concave, and I haven't seen them that way before. Everything else is identical to what I've picked before. Detached veil, that's what that's called. Just get out of the way. Plenty of you choke cherry. Choke cherry is really making a major comeback. It has suffered so much in the last 15 years. I watched 90% of it die off. The bag I brought is not big enough to hold that. Shit. You're annoying. Get out of the way. Choke cherry is too, but oh, by the way, the leaves are toxic, the berries are not. Plantain, you can toast, roast, and eat the seeds. I don't know how. Some guy who wrote a book said you can do so. However, it's got Velcro on the surface. So you've got a lot of nitpicking to do to get to the kernel of seed inside of the Velcro shell. Wow, the flowers are red this time. They're always purple. This one's red. It's mutating. Alright, signing off. Picking time. Okay, there's something I forgot. Carefully dig out the root. That is a vital identification point. Now, as far as fungus edibility, there are bugs that really enjoy a lot of these. So break off the stem, examine it closely. If the insects or ants enjoy it, you will find ants or insect larvae inside of it. I see none. I'm smelling it. It doesn't smell like what I'm familiar with. It's the same size, type, shape. It's slightly different, so what I will do is sample a very tiny bit. I will not swallow it. I will spit it out. I want to see if the flavor is the same as what I harvested before. Harvested, pardon me. We've had a very high amount of precipitation. A lot of edible plants, when they've had excessive rainfall, will taste bland because they have so much water in them. This one is pleasant, and it tastes bland. Now, the bruising does match that of the shaggy parasol. I see a tiny bit of mold. I want to pick that out. So the root matches, the stem and veil match, the cap size matches, the gills is what these are called, matches, the pattern, albeit much more pale than I've seen before, does match. The flavor, barely any flavor, but it is familiar. I have an attuned, to you it wouldn't mean anything, an attuned intuition. I have trained my consciousness and subconsciousness to be in tune with my cellular consciousness, which instinctively, through genetic ancestry, knows what is and isn't good for it. And I sense this safe. I will still go by the book for absolute positive identification. Take no chances. Look up poisonous lookalikes. Try to find a match. If you don't, then, well, follow what the professionals say. There's a pink. I should bruise. Well, the gills are bruised and brown. That's pink so far. It should be brown within like 3 minutes. Alright, moving on. I found myself another delicacy. This is called Black Pluteus. It has a quality of flavor which I relate to roast beef. This one the bugs really enjoy, so rarely do I find it not infested. Have a look. The best way to get the bugs out of it is to put it out to quickly dry. The bugs will abandon it. Now if the bugs look like they're really big and mature, then they likely laid eggs in it. So do not eat it raw, cook it. Another way, most bugs respond negatively to human breath. If you breathe on it, they will just let go and drop to the ground. This one's going to require some treatment. Oh yeah. It smells like a really, really dark, rich mushroom. With the quality like either roast beef or coffee, it's just really rich. Really fragrant, really tasteful. I should have some dry weather tomorrow, so I'm going to put it out and let it dry. I'd say this is about 6 inches across. I need to bring a much larger bag. I brought a bagel bag. I don't know why I so just unconfidently brought that one. The only thing I can stuff into that is mint. I'm going to have to remember to spray some disinfectant on this to kill the mushroom spores, because if I have this camera put away in some humid area, it could be problematic. This area is also known for wild strawberry, though the animals are really on the ball with this. The very second they are the slightest ripe, they eat them. In 30 years I've only found 2, maybe 3 strawberries that I got to enjoy for myself. That's out of about an acre worth of strawberry plants. Welcome to the wild. Noisy goddamn traffic. God, I wish they'd stay away from the wilderness. I walked into a little poison oak sprout trap. They're only 2 to 3 inches high. Fortunately, I did waterproof these shoes, but the oils, the poison that it produces on the entire plant is an oil-like resin. It still has to be neutralized in some way. I don't think disinfectant spray will do the trick, though I'm willing to try it. But the cure I do have for it is pine tea, pine sap, boiled pine needles. So I'll probably use a pine tea to wash off my shoes to help neutralize that poison. Nature is where hypersensitive people belong. They still have ancestral attunement. Modern people do not. Their senses are so dulled, they can tolerate anything because they're numbskulls. I shall let those be. Silverleaf willow. They got some nasty spines on them. Hence, they are edible. And the flowers, they smell like cloves and butter. They're really wonderful. Not very many this year. I also checked out the local crabapple trees. Apparently the storms had wiped out the blossoms because I only found one apple spud, or what I can possibly call it. Size of the last segment of my pinky. One apple. There have been years when they were covered with hundreds of apples, and I harvested them, chopped them up, boiled them, dried them, used them for making wine, pancakes, applesauce. So much great stuff. And again, I honor it by helping it propagate. I threw many apple cores around. Unfortunately, there's a bug, an insect, which lays its eggs in the flowers, and the bugs hatch within the apple and eat the seeds. They don't eat the apple, they eat the seeds. That smells good. Not as strong as usual. It's because there's been so much rain. When it dries out more, then the scent will increase. Stop fucking littering! So, over the years I've tossed a lot of cores, a lot of seeds around. And for the 3 trees I've known, one has died, and this one is one of the seeds I had tossed out, which produced an entirely new tree. So even though it's 1 for 1, it's sad. I should be able to propagate more. The leaves are edible, and they actually taste pretty good, raw. It's usually September, October when the apples are mature. The very tip of the apple, if it's still green, is not mature. It has to be entirely red. Grab the tip of a branch, shake it, drop the apples, pick through them, check for wormholes at the very base. Well, the end point of the apple, opposite of where the stem attaches to it. I have to say, wait, where's the camera? I have to say that it's so shameful that such a, what do I call it? It's not pristine, but minimally disturbed wilderness area I got thoughts all over about this. It's next to a highway, and this wildlife is doing its best to thrive. It's doing its best to sing in its cage. I'd say it's only a matter of a decade before this is all encroached upon by humans and this wildlife. Little tiny canyon sanctuary will be wiped out. I've thought a lot about what it's like for them. There's a ridgeline nearby that had new houses that went up. The animals were distressed by it. A lot of them moved out for 1 year. When they're distressed, they don't reproduce as much. Some of them, well, probably many of them, lose their feeding grounds, nesting grounds, dens, and they die off due to stress and hardship. I still remember one organization saying that nature, wildlife, and wildlands are another nation that we must shut up! That we must respect the sovereignty of nature. Has sovereignty. It does have some stupid animals, but it has lots of really intelligent animals as well. They live by necessity, not like humans. They live by necessity, not want, not selfishness, not vanity. I think if I were not such a sensitive man, I would be passionately involved in some environmental activism. This is a tiny little place on the edge of the Black Hills of South Dakota. What distresses me in my being detail-oriented is that everybody owns everything on Earth, every piece of land, and a lot of them don't do anything with it. On one side, that's a good thing. On the bad side, for those who want to live a simpler life, live in harmony with the land, don't get to, unless they are very discreet. They would get penalized. Oh, I bought and owned all of this. No, I'm not doing anything with it. It's like a board game Monopoly. You're here. Penalty. Pay up. Possession, greed, fences, pollution. I'll be quiet for a little bit and let you hear some of the, if you can, bird song amidst this technological air pollution noise. Let me see what I can do with this camera. Nope. Yes, I'm appreciating some of it. I'm in transition between cities and jobs. I have money in the bank. And I have to play this out just right to keep from losing too much money, optimize opportunities. I know there's more to say about it, but I just can't think of it at this moment. Sunset time. I worked hard today on my photos and captions and creating sample pictures that cannot be stolen, and preparing to set up a website. Try to do business selling my wilderness photography and with philosophical, spiritual captions. It's so hard not to be pessimistic, because I've done many things the right way, but because the human race is so on a low instinctive level that I've gotten cut off, sabotaged, exploited, or just downright shut down over and over again. I am so sick of it. The human race is so demonic. Collectively. It is astounding how there's such polarity, that you've got humans that are so pure, humans that are so selfless and benevolent, and then some that are just soulless vessels of evil. I've been pleading with God and Gaia for decades to clean this shit up and get control. The reason why I'm not believing in a God as a creator or supreme power anymore is because exactly the way things are. If gods or goddesses were what we believe and claim that they would be, this world would not be it's hard to find the words in classical English, but in American slang I can call it a clusterfuck. There's too much wrong going on. I should slap that onto a t-shirt. Bang the gong, because there's too much wrong going on. Enough of this con. Too much traffic, not enough bird sound. Actually, birds don't sing, they talk. They talk through whistles. It is not bird song, literally.